Now at 10 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, a mass shooting at Florida State University leaves 2 dead and several injured. What we know about the suspect and the ongoing investigation. Victoria College lands 2 major workforce grants, how local businesses and employees could benefit. And the Texas House unanimously passes Audrey's Law. Find out how it aims to close a loophole in the sex offender registry.
It was a bit of a gusty day with those winds coming out of the south-southeast, but we're looking west for those rain chances to make their way here. But when will they get here? I'll have that in our full forecast and weather.
And today ended the last day of the boys golf regionals here in Victoria. We'll tell you all the top teams coming up in sports.
You're watching 25 News now at 10. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Don Brubaker. Shauna Curry is on assignment. A safety concern at Charlemont Elementary Thursday afternoon after a student reportedly made a verbal threat led to a swift response from law enforcement. It happened just before 2 o'clock when school staff alerted the Victoria County Sheriff's Office school resource officers. Deputies say a 10-year-old boy made the threat. He was arrested at the school and is now facing a charge of making a terroristic threat. No one was hurt and investigators say no weapons were found. The school remains secure and classes continued without further incident. A report of a possible weapon on campus led to a quick response from school resource officers this morning at Victoria West High School. Just after 9 o'clock, staff alerted the officers assigned to the campus. After a preliminary investigation, deputies determined there was no weapon and no threats made to students or staff. A 15-year-old male student was arrested and charged with making a false report to trigger an emergency response. He was taken to the juvenile detention center. No injuries were reported. 2 people were killed in a mass shooting Thursday afternoon at the Florida State University campus in Tallahassee. University police say 5 are hospitalized with gunshot wounds. The Leon County Sheriff identified the shooter as 20-year-old Phoenix Eichner. He's the son of a sheriff's deputy and a student at FSU. Eichner was shot by officers and is also hospitalized. Police said 1 gun found at the scene belonged to the deputy, but other weapons may have also been used. A possible motive has not been released. The investigation is ongoing. The Social Security office in Victoria is staying open. A spokesperson for U.S. House of Representatives District 27, Michael Cloud, says the local office for the Social Security Administration will remain open. The Department of Oversight and Government Efficiency previously listed the Victoria office as a location that could potentially be closed. The Victoria listing has been removed from the site. The Texas Workforce Commission awarded Victoria College 2 grants that support training opportunities and increase skill levels at local businesses. VC is seeking local business partners to apply for the Skills for Small Business grant, which totals $31,500. Victoria College was also awarded a grant of over $138,000. It's a skills development fund grant to provide customized training to about 100 employees at Seadrift Coke. Time to check on our weather. Let's go to Jacob Lozano with a first look at the forecast. Jacob, we're really enjoying this weather and you're telling us it's going to change?
Yeah, Don, it is going to change, and it's going to change for the good better. We're going to see some rain chances start to enter into our forecast, but first, we're going to have to go through some windy conditions. Right now, we're sitting at south-southeasterly winds at about 18 miles per hour. 73 degrees is what we're feeling right now here in the area, but 84 was our high, but we're about almost 1.5 inches over or under for the April average, and that's where we're going to start to see our rain chances come into play, hopefully. So we got a southeasterly flow coming out from this high pressure system, but that low right here, it's going to bring this little weak front that's going to bring our rain chances, and it's going to end up stalling over the area and start to retreat backwards. So we're going to have multiple days of just rain chances in the area, but when is this going to occur? Well, I have that in our full forecast coming up. Don?
Jacob, thank you. The Texas Senate unanimously passed Senator Lois Kolkhorst's Senate Bill 2361, authorizing the transfer of the University of Houston Victoria campus to the Texas A&M University system. The bill will transfer the powers, responsibilities, and oversight of the university to the Texas A&M University system, and the campus will be renamed Texas A&M University Victoria. The bill now moves to the Texas House, where State Representative District 30 A.J. Louderback is sponsoring the companion bill. Once signed by the governor, the effective date of the transfer will be September 1st. In a statement, Senator Kolkhorst said, quote, "This is an opportunity not only for the Crossroads region, but also for Texas." The senator added, quote, "Texas A&M is a global leader in agriculture, engineering, and STEM fields, making it the perfect choice for workforce development," unquote. The Texas House unanimously passed Audrey's Law, a bill named after 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham of Livingston, who was kidnapped and murdered last year. The legislation aims to close a loophole in the state's sex offender registry that currently allows certain criminals to avoid registration. Crossroads Today is inviting you to join in and celebrate Earth Day by showing off your doodles. Show us what Earth Day means to you. We'll share your Earth Day doodles on our social media and feature one doodle per day on Sunrise. Submissions are open now through April 25th. Just come to our website, crossroadstoday.com. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Crossroads Today. Hit the like button, click the notification bell, then you can see Crossroads Today on YouTube. And stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10. A zebra sanctuary in Bloomington leads to a deeper investigation. What we uncovered about a local nonprofit and its ties to money and power. A sanctuary in Bloomington sounds too strange to be true. But when 25 News Now anchor Shauna Curry dug deeper, she found something even more unexpected. What started as a story about a nonprofit turned into an investigation involving money, power, and incorporation. Tonight in this 25 News Now Extra, the truth behind Keep Bloomington Beautiful is revealed.
On the outskirts of Bloomington sits a 49-acre piece of land that's home to a pecan orchard, a pond, and a dazzle of zebras. Keep Bloomington Beautiful's a nonprofit claiming it's all about sprucing up the community with projects like a splash pad, a butterfly conservatory, and even a zebra sanctuary.
I've never heard of a zebra sanctuary. Not here in Bloomington, no.
The organization makes some big promises, but when asking around, Bloomington residents had the same reaction.
I absolutely love animals and zebras are absolutely beautiful, but you know, when you have this town with this kind of demographics and the financial struggle that this town is under, what does that mean? What is zebras got to be beneficial for? You know, I mean, it's a beautiful animal and nothing to that, but it's not reality for the people in Bloomington.
What seemed like just another well-meaning nonprofit quickly unraveled into something that's not so black and white.
It is a concern to me. You know, first of all, when we found out here a few months ago that there was even an organization called the Keep Bloomington Beautiful, and then finding out that there isn't any monies that are being funneled back to the community for cleanup or beautifying Bloomington, there is concerns.
A zebra can't change its stripes, but a snake can shed its skin. Through our investigation into Keep Bloomington Beautiful, we uncovered deep ties to a network of nonprofits and limited liability companies, also known as LLCs, controlling a significant number of rental properties in Victoria County. At the center of it all, a group of people now under investigation for organized criminal activity, suspected of bribery, document falsification, and intimidation. Records show the people behind Keep Bloomington Beautiful are involved in multiple nonprofits and companies managing hundreds of weekly rental apartments in Bloomington, referred to by locals as the cabins. These properties have been bought and sold through a tangled web of company names, all leading back to the same group of people managing them. One company, Oakwood Outlook, has been a major player in property transactions, selling land back and forth with Keep Bloomington Beautiful. But why would a nonprofit focused on beautification be involved in high-volume real estate transactions? On one of our visits, we noticed the Keep Bloomington Beautiful sign outside the same building as the cabin's business office. So we went in to see if we could talk with anyone associated with the organization.
We're with 25 News Now, and we're doing a story on Keep Bloomington Beautiful. Is there anyone here from the organization?
I'm sorry, but I have to go somewhere. I have to go meet them. So if you have to please step outside.
Who,
I have to leave.
Okay, who do I need to talk to? Do you know?
We were asked to leave with none of our questions answered. This video from November 2024 shows the same building being raided after investigators suspected these companies were funneling money to members of the Victoria County Water Board, the group in charge of Bloomington's water supply. Looking deeper, we found that a key player behind several nonprofits is also connected to a group of companies that own land in the area. Her common-law husband is the one behind many of the town's rental properties. On top of that, they're tied to Sedona Randolph, a foreign for-profit company that collects rent from people living in the cabins and manages the money side of things. At the center of all of this is the Water District, led by President William McCaskill, who has a troubling history. A previous investigation by the Victoria Advocate uncovered McCaskill was convicted of extortion in a military court and forgery, among other crimes. Now he's under fire for allegedly taking payments from the companies running the rental cabins. Documents show Sedona Randolph has paid McCaskill $2,000 a month, totaling over $210,000 since October 2017. A key witness told investigators McCaskill charges different people different rates for water. And it turns out other water board members have also been getting regular payments from Sedona Randolph for years. McCaskill is also accused of making murder threats.
The Water District was selling a piece of land right next to one of its wells. According to the search warrant, despite a higher bid from someone else, it was worked out as a deal to sell this land to the owner of Emerald City Investments.
The owner of Emerald City Investments also runs Keep Bloomington Beautiful. The search warrant accuses him of using the land in 2024 to drill an unengineered water well, even with concerns from the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality about its water production capabilities, then signing an agreement to sell water to the Water District. The amount undisclosed. Records from Sedona Randolph show significant financial transactions with Emerald City Investments as well. This whole investigation started with a petition to incorporate Bloomington as a municipality. A newly formed company that only goes by a mix of numbers and letters submitted that petition with an unusual and highly selective map of the proposed village of Bloomington. One resident claimed being tricked into signing the petition without knowing its true purpose. When he tried to take his name off, he was handed a different version of the document than he originally signed. Meanwhile, the boundaries of the proposed incorporation conveniently encompassed rental properties linked to Oakwood Outlook and other related companies, while excluding much of Bloomington's existing community. These people are gathering in response to the ongoing frustrations with those companies and the possible effect of their effort to incorporate.
Left the longtime residents of Bloomington with no voice, but under governance of that city. Because we were not the majority of the longtime residents were not inside of those city limits, they wouldn't even be able to vote. And you'd have to be asked to annex in to be a part of the city. But we'd still be taxed, we'd be in that extraterritorial jurisdiction. So we would come under governance with no voice.
So they formed Bloomington Better Together, a small town movement advocating for a new direction in Bloomington, a direction County Commissioner Danny Garcia wants to be rooted in community collaboration, transparency, and accountability.
The concerns that people have are shared throughout the community, to the point you saw that group that gathered up 300 plus people, right? Those are people that are concerned. And so if those folks are concerned, those are folks that affect us as a county. To the extent that the county judge and the other commissioners came to that meeting with me in support of trying to figure out what's really going on there. And so the sheriff is now involved.
The group's formation was driven by a sense of urgency.
It's like an invasion.
We met a former Bloomington educator who quickly jumped on board.
I'm kind of the pot stirrer. I just taught school here for a long time, and I tend to be a voice. When I started hearing all of the issues, I came back to talk.
Bloomington Better Together is currently meeting once a month with a focus on making improvements directly benefiting residents, including their own push to incorporate Bloomington with a more common sense boundary.
And we needed something that would remind people that was a together, so that we would know that the point was to combine our community. We're not trying to exclude anyone, not the inhabitants of the cabins, not any of those people, but to bring the community together, not divided like that incorporation petition put forth. There's room for all of us here, but it's community, not us against them.
Many, like Tiki, see this as the best chance for Bloomington to truly thrive, rather than be dependent on organizations that, to them, seem more focused on appearances than results. The group's plan to incorporate the town would not only grant the community more control over their future, but also provide resources needed to clean up the area, repair the roads, and foster economic development. Bloomington Better Together hopes to bring new life to a town they say has been long overlooked. Bloomington native Samantha Chapa volunteered at a community cleanup the first weekend of March to remove large piles of trash from neighbors' yards. The absence of any help associated with Keep Bloomington Beautiful frustrated her.
Well, if we had an organization like that here in Bloomington, they would be here today. They would be here today helping us, assisting us, volunteering, helping clean the town of Bloomington. They would be here volunteering.
As these local advocates gain momentum, residents like Tiki and Samantha are asking, what if Bloomington's future isn't tied to a zebra sanctuary, but instead to a community that is better together? Only time will tell, but the town is certainly at a crossroads. Keep Bloomington Beautiful's involvement in land sales, its direct connections to companies managing rental properties, and the ongoing criminal investigation into bribery all point to an organization operating under the microscope.
We just recently found out that there was such an organization, and so we're trying to figure things out now. And if it's legitimate, if it's not, if it's part of, what's already going on in Bloomington, all that will come to light.
What started as a simple question, where is the zebra sanctuary, has led to a complex web of money, influence, and corruption. And as the investigation continues and the truth comes to light, one thing is clear. Keep Bloomington Beautiful may be keeping something, but it's not the community's best interests.
Shauna, thank you. We reached out to Mr. McCaskill for a comment and did not receive a response. Victoria County Sheriff Justin Marr says he's unable to share additional details with us at this time since it's still an ongoing investigation. And this brings us to our viewer poll tonight. The question is, do you support Bloomington incorporating to gain more local control? Choices are yes, no, or not sure, need more information. Just over half of our voters, 51%, support Bloomington incorporating to gain more local control. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part, and we thank you for voting.
Well, the winds are still blowing out of the southeast, but they're starting to die down here a little bit, but they're going to re-ramp up here tomorrow, plus the rain chances. I'll have that full forecast coming to you after the break. Well, good evening, Crossroads. The clouds have started to roll in and the wind has begun to pick up here out of the south-southeast at 18 miles per hour. We're currently sitting at 73 degrees right now, but it's that high pressure system that is well east of us that has just been roaring in some of this warm, moist air coming out of the south. But we're looking out west for this low pressure system right here that's going to be moving eastward and bringing us a good chance of rain here as a weak front will move on through, stall out here around the Texas coastline, and begin to retreat backwards as a warm front, and that's going to give us our rain chances for the next 5 to 7 days here. 18-mile-per-hour winds are the conversation right now, but before we talk about the winds, we got to know 3-mile-per-hour winds blow the leaves, 28-mile-per-hour winds can get the trash cans rolling down the street, so do be aware of that. Now let's talk about the winds. We've got 14-mile-per-hour winds as we go on through tonight, and by tomorrow morning we'll get to about 10 to 15 here starting out our day, but they will start rolling out of the south here about 20 to 25 mile per hour sustained with 40 mile per hour gusts possible as we go on through the day. And those winds will begin to die down slightly here Friday night, but still going to be a bit strong here, sustained at about 18 miles per hour. Now Saturday morning will be start off a little calm, but those temperatures, those wind values are going to rise up here at 20 miles per hour here going into Saturday as well as Sunday. That's when we're going to start to see that frontal system begin to move on through and give us some calm conditions here in the morning. So we'll get a little break from the wind, but that'll bring us our rain conditions. But temperature-wise, for that front moving through, we'll be at 74 degrees here tomorrow morning, and we'll get up to the upper 80s and maybe some 90s there in our western counties. And same thing here Saturday morning, 70s in the morning, get up to the 80s, maybe see some 90s, pockets of 90s here and there. And Sunday, Easter morning, will be a bit on the warm, muggy side with the upper 70s, mid to low 70s, and 80 degrees, maybe some 90s here along 183. But it's going to be a bit of a warm, muggy weekend going into these next 3 days. And, well, mugginess is going to be pretty dominant over the next 7 days, to be exact, as we'll stay pretty humid because those dew point values are going to be pretty high with those southeasterly winds. Now, rain chances are in the picture. Saturday, we'll start to see a little pockets of showers, and as the front begins to move in here Sunday morning into Sunday evening, we'll start to see rain stay pretty dominant here over the Crossroads region. We'll start to see isolated to scattered showers here, and that'll actually last here Monday, where we start to see those scattered showers across the Texas coastline and begin to push back northwestward, and we're going to see showers still pretty isolated to scattered here into Tuesday as well as into Wednesday. We'll probably have our best shot of rain here with scattered isolated showers and thunderstorms here coming into Wednesday as well as Thursday. Now, how much rain are we looking at? Well, based off of this little backyard rain gauge, we got 38/10 of an inch, and we got 0.77 there in Port Lavaca, and 0.42 is what we're looking at here in Cuero. So a little less than an inch over the next 5 days, but we can take as much rain as we need because we haven't received any for this month. But Port Lavaca, your daily planner, 21-mile-per-hour winds, 83 degrees as our high, as well as Cuero will see 87 degrees as our high, 23-mile-per-hour winds. And also in Victoria will be 85 degrees with those south-southeasterly winds at 24 miles per hour. But those next 7 days, well, the next 2 days, we have the windy conditions. As we get into Easter Sunday, we'll start to see some showers begin to pop up. We'll stay in the 80s, but rain is going to be pretty prominent over the next 7 days. Now, don't forget to scan the QR code to get more news, weather, and sports. And here's Max Williams with the Athlete of the Week.
That's right, Jacob. After the break, we're going to see who will be tonight's Athlete of the Week. I'll tell you who it is coming up in sports. All right, Crosses, before we start our sports block, I wanted to give a shout out there to Shauna Curry because I saw that there in the newsroom, and man, what a great piece it was. And again, props up to everything. They just did a lot of work to get that piece together, so props up there to Shauna Curry with that piece as well. But now let's get over here to our Athlete of the Week because we kept talking about the golf regionals here in Victoria, and Industrial's Pacey Rowe. She's going to be our Athlete of the Week for this week. So here's more and see how she did it there on the golf course. For this week's Athlete of the Week, we're handing it to Industrial girls golfer Pacey Rowe, who finished first place individually, scoring a total of 186 points, and helped the Cobras win a playoff round hole versus Hondo High School on Tuesday. Rowe talked about how she needed to work on her putts and be more consistent to score well.
Just get my score lower and to be satisfied with it. I really just need to focus on my putting. I was leaving putts a little short, and just overall being more consistent. And I think that would help me really get to the 80s where I want to be.
Rowe definitely took her own advice and scored a really low score this past week. Now her and the girls team will focus on state in a couple weeks, and Rowe and the Cobras are no stranger to the big stage.
I went last year, and it was really just like a different experience. It's just unreal, like to be able to compete for your school at a state championship, and it just feels really nice to get back there again.
Rowe also talked about how this team has been fully connected this entire season. We'll need that same mentality in 2 weeks.
Team really just we fully work together to get us to where our score normally is. We all shoot our average. So Kaylee, she's another senior. Shelby, she's a junior. Addison and Annie are our sophomores. And they really just, they they do it for us, and we all just stick as a team.
And all Rowe and the girls golf team looks to make some noise at the state championships in Austin in 2 weeks. Wish the girls team luck. Congrats to Pacey Rowe for being this week's Athlete of the Week. All right, so the last day of the 3A and 4A boys golf regionals. We're actually here in Victoria today for the Industrial boys. They have now the back-to-back regional champions, and for Goliad boys team, they finished in 3rd place. And then over in 4A, El Campo boys golf finished in 10th place, and Cuero got 11th place. So unfortunately, again, top 3 teams for 3A and 4A. So there for Goliad Industrial, they will be going to the state championships there in a couple weeks. And also, we'll tune in tomorrow because we got day 1 of the track regionals here across the crossroads. And finally, some quick score updates here around baseball and softball action. First with softball, the Ganado faced Latonia today, and they won this game 15-0. They are officially district champions over Shiner as they won that game there on Tuesday. So Ganado, props up to them for being district champions. Over to an early playoff softball preview with Cuero facing the Goliad Tigers. This was a close battle. Goliad won this one 9-8. For Cuero, Audrey Kremling had 4 hits though, brought in 2 RBIs, but Goliad just too much there to handle. Again, real playoffs for both these teams will start there next week. Over to some baseball action. Victoria East again ranked in the top 25 this week. Got win number 301 there for West Coley. They beat Lamar there 11-1. They're going to be playing Fort Bend Kepner on Tuesday night. And then how about Victoria West? They've traveled all the way to Fort Bend Marshall, and they won this game 18-0 in this one. They're currently tied with East right now at 9-1 there in district. Again, we'll see how that finishes up all the way down to the wire. That's going to do it here in sports. Don, back to you.
Thank you, and stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 10, we'll take a last look at your weather. Thousands of Girl Scout cookies on their way to service members overseas.
Watch tonight, or you and me or I are done. Well, thank you for saying that. It's very nice. You know, I wasn't feeling in the Easter spirit, and now I am. Thanks to you.
Get in it. You ain't got a choice.
Researchers at Cambridge University found what they believe are the strongest signs yet of possible life on another planet. The planet known as K2-18b is far outside our solar system. Using the James Webb Space Telescope, scientists detected signs of 2 gases that are emitted by living organisms here on Earth. The meteor shower is underway. NASA says it will be active through April 26th with 5 or 6 meteors an hour visible when the sky is dark. The agency says the peak will be on Monday and Tuesday. NASA says the first recorded sighting of this meteor shower was in 687 BC. So the big question that I have for you, Jacob, can we see this meteor shower if it's going to be cloudy and raining on Monday and Tuesday?
Yes and no. It depends if we get a little bit of pockets of clearing. We'll be able to see that here because we'll see some scattered showers here Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But like I said, there might be a little clear chance that you might be able to see something move. But predominantly, it's going to be a bit cloudy here over the next 7 days.
And we need the rain.
We do need the rain.
All right, thank you, Jacob. And finally, a special shipment on Long Island, New York. Girl Scouts in Nassau County packed thousands of cookie boxes for troops stationed around the world. It's all part of Operation Cookie, a 2-decade tradition sending a taste of home to our men and women in uniform. Nearly 65,000 boxes are being shipped this year with help from volunteers, including retired service members who once received cookies themselves. Great way to help our people in the military all over. Send them some cookies. I bet, you know, the Thin Mints. Oh, I see some Thin Mints there. Yeah, they're going out there.
My favorite type of Girl Scout cookies.
Oh, yeah, and there's so many of them, So good job, Girl Scouts, and thanks for joining us. Join 25 News Now Sunrise, Carolina Astroim, meteorologist Parker Cox at 5 a.m. Jimmy Kimmel Live starts now.